Hey there, neighbor. Welcome to Wild Homestead Living. I'm Julie.
And I'm Kevin. It's May here on the homestead, and things are going wild both inside and outside the garden, and we're excited to share with you the latest developments.
Let's get started. While Kevin is pulling our latest game cam footage, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the garden. So the first spot to look at is this, which has nothing in it. And the reason that's exciting is that for 6 months we had topsoil covered in a blue tarp, and we have now fully distributed it. So that part is done. And one of the places that we put it is right over here. So this is a quick bed, and we did a video on how we make a quick bed, which you're welcome to check out. But there is a nice thick layer of crimson clover seed that has started to sprout that's going to be coming up, and we'll let that sit and grow over the next year, and in the spring we'll come in and we'll till it in and start planting some herbs. In particular, I'm excited about putting lavender there. We had enough soil left over from doing our quick bed along the driveway to put in an additional quick bed that we've been planning, and that one's right behind me. So it goes along the front of our house and along the side of the house. And our dream is to eventually have the only lawn on our property be these kind of walkways or, driveways for wheelbarrows and such. So I was really excited that we got to get a little bit ahead with our master plan without having to spend more money this season. Here we are at our main garden, and we've got some perennials planted along with our wildflowers that are still waiting to come up. And these perennials we got at a plant sale at a local farm. And you can see some of them are doing really well, like this poppy. Poppies are my favorite flower, and I'm excited to have these here. We completed this garden in August, so it's our very first spring planting in it. We've had big variations in the weather, which has led to mixed success in our crops so far. Our little greenhouse, which we did a video of unboxing and building, has been doing fantastic, much better than I expected. And I would say that it's more than paid for itself at this point. We've continued to start seeds and to transition, hardening off seeds and starts for our garden in here. And we also have started planting our hotter season crops that are going to stay in here for the year. Our peppers, which you saw in our guest bathroom last month, are now in their homes in the greenhouse, and they're doing really well. Here we are on our back 40 square feet, which is our patio garden, and it is going awesome. If you saw our last video, you saw me put together these planters with the strawberries, and they look nothing like they do today. They were bare root, they almost looked dead, and you can see how well they're doing now. Here we are with the rest of our tomatoes that aren't in the greenhouse, and I planted them out a few days ago. I don't start tomatoes. I got them from my friend Connie, who is just amazing at growing them and starting them. It's her specialty. So I find it a great way to support another person in my community, as well as for me to get a better start with these.
Last October, Julie and I made a video of us putting together this bed in which we're trying to cultivate wine cap mushrooms. And now, just 6 months later, we have a mushroom. So we're pretty excited though. It's working, and we're hoping that this is the first of many mushrooms, especially because the slugs have already taken a few bites out of this one. As May has progressed, the wooded part of our property has really started to leaf out, so we decided to move the cat fur experiment that was featured in an earlier video to a new spot out here in the woods, just to see what kind of new animals we might attract to take advantage of it. Now, the first visitors were the same species that used it originally. Black-capped chickadees come in to collect the fur to line their nest cavities in nearby trees. Some even came before dawn to take advantage of this bounty. Other species that we saw included spotted towhees, American robins, and we had a Steller's jay pop in just to take a look as well. But we also had some surprises. At night, a northern flying squirrel stopped by on several occasions to pull out some fur, again presumably to line her nest cavity in a nearby tree. While it was exciting to see this little flying squirrel, it was even more exciting to review some other nighttime footage and realize that we had a much larger visitor to our little patch of woods. If we back up here and take a closer look at the background, you can see that we had a black bear using the trail just behind the fur. We knew they were around, but this is the first time we've ever caught them on video. On the same trail that the black bear was using at night, we've seen a number of black-tailed deer moving through during the day. Almost all of these have been does, and we've seen quite a few that appear either pregnant or as if they have recently given birth. So we're pretty certain that out there among the wooded parts of our property, there are deer fawns at the moment that are hunkered down waiting for their moms to return. In addition to the deer, we've been seeing a number of eastern cottontail rabbits, both adult and young, on the property, but thanks to the fencing that we've put in, we haven't had any conflicts with these animals in the garden. And we also have some extra help out there in the woods, as evidenced by these earlier game cam videos, that will probably help keep the overall rabbit population in check on the property. As May has progressed, we've seen a number of new birds nesting on our property, including these red-breasted sapsuckers that built a nest cavity in one of the many cottonwood snags. Spotted towhees, which started nesting early, are still actively nesting, some birds starting on their second nest, and this male was singing in a cherry tree down at the bottom of our property. Our game cams caught this new neighbor begging his parent for some food. This is a fledgling Steller's jay. You can tell by his short tail feathers and his pink mouth and his begging behavior. We were really excited to welcome this new neighbor to our homestead.
Our seed starting mats didn't get used much for the garden this month, but they turned out to be very helpful in getting dough to rise.
We haven't had any major construction projects here on the homestead during May, but we did put up this temporary fencing here to protect the patio garden from all of the deer and the rabbits that we've been seeing on the rest of the property. Earlier this week, Julie actually saw a black-tailed doe eyeing the pot full of parsley down at the end here, and we added some flagging to make the fence just a little bit higher. We found in the past, this close to the house, the lower fence has been enough, but this doe was making it pretty clear she was thinking about breaching it, so the flagging will give a little extra security here for the future.
Okay, so perhaps the coolest thing I've made this month is also super simple, and it is these slug prevention rings. It's almost like a crown. And basically what it is a piece of cardboard, a strip of cardboard, covered in duct tape with copper tape around the outside. And what it's doing is it's protecting this cardoon plant. I didn't think slugs would be such a problem. I sort of forgot that they are here because we designed this garden to completely exclude them and deter them, and we've never had a single slug munch out of this, even though we grew tons of lettuce all fall and winter. But the slugs are still here. It's just that our methods are working. So I translated the ideas that I used in there to here. And by having these simple little removable rings, it's allowed this plant to grow some new leaves so that it can get some more solar panels and hopefully survive the munching slugs. Once it gets older and established, even if the slugs eat it a little bit, it'll be fine. But right now, while it's a baby, it needs all the help it can get. So this month, I finally read a classic that has been on my list for many years, and it's called Gardening Without the Work: For the Aging, the Busy, and the Indolent. It was written by Ruth Stout, published in 1961, and she was born in 1884 and didn't start gardening until she was in her 40s. And she created her own system based on questioning everything that people told her and observing nature. And completely unintentionally, she ended up starting a whole movement and a whole method called the Stout Method. And I found this book incredibly refreshing. She is truly a unique character, and I highly recommend reading it.
We hope you've enjoyed this little glimpse into our world and what's been going on our homestead this month.
We would love to know what's going on for you. Wherever you're watching, go ahead and scroll down and leave us a question and comment. We try to reply to everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll see you next time.
Let's just go. Let's do it. Rolling.
I know.
Serious time. Serious.
This is why I love you and hate you at the same time. Okay.
Excellent. Doing my job. Calmer than you.